Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's morning market call. It is a beautiful 27th of January 2026. My name is Ian Joseph, market analyst at HFM. And a quick disclaimer before we do begin. The information herein is only meant for educational and informative purposes only. None of it should be construed as investment advice. Trading the financial markets do carry a degree of risk, but no worry, I'm here to help you look at the markets the right way. We are about to resume our pip stop tours, and this is the perfect time for us to
remember those HFM events that everyone's been talking about? Yeah, the ones you said you'll attend next time. Well, hi next time. From the banks of Lake Victoria to the beautiful beaches of Mombasa, our educational events just got bigger, better and bolder than ever. These sessions are just built for you. Whether you're getting started or remember those HFMs from your profits. So, unless you like watching our highlights from your couch while everyone else hi next maybe from the banks of Lake 2026 is your year to level up and discover how Forex and cryptocurrency can work for you.
Indeed. Our pip stop tours are resuming, and tomorrow we shall be at the Selela Resort, which is going to be 20th of January 2026 at Kisumu, and then we shall be off to Kisii on 30th of January at the Dallas Premier Hotel, then Homer Bay at Cold Springs Hotel on the 2nd of February, and then we are going to conclude the first half of the pip stop tour with Migori, Kenya on 4th of February at Hotel Vana. Purpose to attend, tag along a friend. We are going to have a networking session, we are going to have a beginner session, and most importantly, we are going to share insights of what the markets are doing currently at the moment. It is earnings season as we do speak. We do anticipate earnings to come out for Boeing, which will come out before the market does open. We do anticipate negative numbers coming out for the aircraft manufacturing company. And then later on, we are going to have Meta Platforms going to release their earnings after the market does close. We do anticipate some really good numbers from them, with the earnings per share being estimated at $24.12. Quite interesting. We are going to have many more companies releasing their earnings, including MasterCard, Microsoft, basically companies that constitute of the Nasdaq. And if these numbers does come out positive, it means we need to look at more long opportunities or buying opportunities in indexes, the specific indexes, and also when we are looking at the said companies. Also looking at the economic calendar, 27th of January, we are anticipating to be a very quiet day in the markets. We don't have any high impact news releases apart from ADP employment change, which is the 4-week average for the United States dollar, coming out in the next 6 hours, 10 minutes and counting. And we are going to have President Lagarde releasing her speech. We want to listen to her. What does she have to say, where the economy is generally headed to? And this will be at exactly 8 p.m. local East African time. Now, as per the title of the morning wrap-up does suggest, we are looking at the markets being calm before the Fed meeting, which is going to be tomorrow at exactly 2200 hours to be exact, where we're going to have the Fed monetary policy statement and the Fed interest rate decision coming out. Currently at the moment, as it does stand, we are looking at numbers between 3.75%. Now, we don't anticipate the Fed Reserve to cut interest rates on tomorrow's meeting, but we want to look at new information that's going to be released 30 minutes later on the FOMC press conference. Now, looking at the statistics, once again, we are looking at the next meeting. It's going to be in the next 1 day, 11 hours and counting. The probability is that 97.2% chance we are going to have interest rates between 350 to 375 basis points. The earliest that we do anticipate the Fed Reserve to cut interest rates is going to be as early as 17th June 2026, whereby the probabilities currently as it does stand, we are looking at a 46% chance that the Fed are going to cut interest rate for the first time in 2026. We are looking at only 2 interest rate cuts this entire of 2026, and once again, the earliest that we might anticipate it's going to be on 17th of June 2026. Now, looking at the Shield 500 account, this is a perfect opportunity for us traders to capitalize on the Shield 500. Now, this is a very good account for new traders, where if you do deposit between the first 10 days of registering, if you're doing any losses within the first 25 days of trading, we are going to back you up to $500 in terms of tradable funds. And
introducing the HFM Shield 500 account, a revolutionary new account specifically for
10
new
days of
traders.
registering.
Within
If
your
you're doing
first
kindly
25
losses
days,
within the first
trade with a
25
peace of mind
days
where
of
up
trading,
to
we are going to back you
$500 in
up
losses
to
are fully covered
$500
as
in
tradable
terms of
funds.
tradable
It is
funds.
your
And
chance to learn, practice, and
Introducing
grow
the
with
HFM
confidence.
Shield
Ready to
500 account,
kickstart your trading
traders
journey? Sign up today and deposit within the first 10 days to get full access to this exclusive offer. Click below to get started, only with HFM.
indeed, only with HFM you have the opportunity to open the Shield 500 account. Once again, whatever money you do deposit between 10 days of registering. If you're doing kindly losses within the first 25 trading days, we are going to back you up to $500 in terms of tradable funds. Now, looking at gold chart, if you have any asset that you want me to look into, kindly put it in the chat section. I'll be glad to digest it for you. Now, looking at the markets currently at the moment, yesterday we did see prices rally to the upper side during Asian session. When the markets did open in the morning, the prices did gap to the upper side, and this was like 120 pips a gap into the upper side. Prices did move aggressively to the upper side, but we did have a major consolidation throughout the entire of London session. But towards the end of New York session, we did get some signs of sellers coming into the markets. Prices came back, tested the closing price of Friday, when the markets did close just around this particular region. Now, looking at price action currently at the moment as it does stand, ever since Asian session did open, prices are rallying to the upper side, but I am looking at this region of resistance around $5,100 an ounce on gold prices. If it do break and close above this region, I will consider looking at more net long opportunities further to the upper side. But this is going to be dependent on what is going to happen tomorrow in the Fed Reserve. If we are going to get hawkish data or hawkish tone from the Fed Reserve or a dovish tone from the Fed Reserve, basically we are waiting for new information. What could potentially happen in the near future when Fed Chair Jerome Powell does leave office? We are anticipating his contract to run out later this year. And if he does go out of the markets, who is going to come in replace him? What are they going to bring in? And this is something that we'll also want to keep a keen eye and a lookout for Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is the person who's going to be in charge of electing the new Fed chair as soon as Jerome Powell's contract does run out. I have a question from Lenny. Is the market still buying? That's what we are digesting currently at the moment. Looking at gold prices, we are in a sort of range. If I can just highlight the highs and lows that we are looking at the markets right now, this is the range that I would want to pay attention to, whereby prices has been consolidating around this particular region. Once again, if we do break out to the upper side, I would want to consider a clear breakout, a bullish candle closing well above this region of resistance. Have a retest around $5,100 an ounce region for a further continuation to the upper side. Now, silver is not left behind. When we're looking at silver yesterday did move aggressively to the upper side, but similar thing to what we did see happen on gold, where during towards the end of New York session, we did get signs of sellers driving the markets further to the downside. Just as the gold chart we have seen, prices did come back, retest on the 50 period moving average, signaling that yes, indeed, buyers are still strong in the markets. We are looking at more opportunities further to the upper side. Currently, at the moment, as it does stand, silver is consolidating, ranging, printing side by side. I would want to look at how the markets are going to react. Now, whenever there's Fed speeches or we're anticipating major news releases into the markets usually tend to consolidate as the markets are bracing for the new information that is supposed to be released. What is this new information? Once again, this is going to be the Fed speech tomorrow, the FOMC meeting, whereby we usually anticipate volatility, and we do see a lot of volatility after the conference, where we now have the question and answer, the Q&A, whereby journalists do inquire from Jerome Powell, where does he see the markets headed to in the near future? Where does he see interest rates decisions? What is the likelihood that their friendship between Donald J. Trump is going to continue after his term does come to an end, which is going to be around May, June, around that particular region, just when we do anticipate the Fed Reserve to lower their interest rates for the first time in 2026. Now, looking at gold euro is positively correlated to XAU USD. Once again, we are seeing prices heading towards a region of resistance that we did form yesterday, which is an all-time high. If we do break and close above this region, I will consider looking at more net long opportunities further to the upper side. Looking at the dollar index has been ranging ever since the markets did open yesterday, where if I can put it into perspective, this is the ranging markets that we have seen on the dollar index. Prices are well below the 50 period and the 200 period moving average, signaling that yes, indeed, we are looking at weaknesses in the dollar currently at the moment as it does stand. If the dollar index does continue to move further to the downside, I will consider looking at shorting opportunities on the dollar and buying opportunities on assets that are paired against the United States dollar. Looking at oil prices, oil has been consolidating around the $60 a barrel for quite some time right now. Now, looking at the markets, we are not anticipating a lot of activity on oil prices. Looking at seasonality speaking, January usually tends to be a calm, subtle month for oil prices as everything is going back to normal. Winter, they're just coming out of winter, and the demand for energy usually goes slightly down. Now, looking at Venezuela, we are looking at more deals on the table being enacted in the near future. We are looking at tensions also when you look at what has been happening over in Europe in relation to Greenland. We are looking at Hello, Tina. We are looking at opportunities of the government of the United States is going to be given specific parts of Greenland, not the entire part of Greenland, but we are looking at specific parts that they are going to be given, and they can set up military bases. They are not going to be given the entire Greenland, but they are going to get an opportunity to set up the golden dome that Donald J. Trump really wants to set up in terms of national security. Now, looking at equities, starting off with indices on US 100. Now, US 100 has been really active of late, especially looking at the geopolitical tensions that we were looking at. Now, last week on Monday, we did see prices aggressively move to the downside. Stocks did take a beating. We did see the 50 period going in between price. We did see the 200 move above price and signaling that yes, indeed, there was weakness into how the markets were viewing what was happening in the world. Essentially, this was way before there were deals about what could potentially happen as a result of Greenland. We were looking at this channel to the downside. We did have a trend line, but towards the end of last week, we did see the markets rally to the upper side. We did close just shy above the opening price of Monday last week. Now, when the markets did open yesterday, we did see the markets gap to the downside, but immediately buyers did rally the markets. When we were doing the analysis yesterday, we did see prices close well above this region of resistance that we were looking at last week, signaling that yes, indeed, buyers are still in control over the markets. Now, looking at Asian session today, we are getting signs of buyers into the markets. Now, it is earnings season. We do anticipate these companies to release their earnings. If these companies are going to release their earnings, it does come out positive. I do anticipate the S&P 500 to continue moving further to the upper side. Not only on the S&P 500, when you look at also the Nasdaq is the index that is going to be mostly affected. Yesterday, while we were doing the analysis, we were looking at this region yesterday, this region of resistance, and we did identify if prices does close above this particular region, we will consider looking at more net long opportunities further to the upper side. If I can take you back to the earnings calendar, we do anticipate Tesla to release its earnings, which is going to come out tomorrow. After the market does close, we do anticipate the earnings per share to come out at 1.59. Visa is also going to release its earnings tomorrow. Microsoft also is going to release its earnings tomorrow. After the market does close, this is going to be just around midnight, around Nairobi time, where we do anticipate the numbers to come out at $16.48 on the earnings per share. Apple is going to release its earnings the day after tomorrow. We do anticipate the numbers to come out better than anticipated at $8.28. And the highlight is going to be NVIDIA. The entire of this month and next month, we do anticipate earnings for these companies. NVIDIA is going to release its earnings towards the end of next month, which is going to be around 25th of February after the market does close. And these companies once again do constitute of the Nasdaq, they do constitute of the US 30, they do constitute of the S&P 500. If the data does come out positive, we would anticipate looking at more net long opportunities further to the upper side. Looking at other markets, especially USD JPY. Now, I have been looking at more information data regarding what we did see happen last week on Friday after Governor Ueda did release his speech, where we did see 180 pips spike in the markets in a very short amount of time. This was less than 5 minutes of trading, where the markets did move 187.7 pips to the downside. This is more than 1.18% of its total value. And this was considered an intervention whereby Bank of Japan did intervene, and we did see the markets move to the downside. Now, 159 is a very psychological, it's an interesting psychological level when you're looking at the dollar against the Japanese yen. If I was to switch this chart to a daily time frame, as you can see, so this was Friday, prices did move to the downside. The last time prices approached 159 was back in January of last year. This was around 9th of January, 10th of January of 2025, whereby prices of USD JPY was rising to the upper side quite aggressively. It did reach 100, almost tapped into 159, and then we did see massive selling. Over the course of the next 73 days, prices of USD JPY lost more than 12% of its total value. Not only that, we have other instances in the past, and apart from 159, which was back in last year, we did have also prices, and I do remember this particular piece of price action. This was back in 2024, whereby we did see prices tap into 160 on the USD against the JPY. Now, when the markets reached that particular point, interesting, soon after we did see USD JPY lose more than 13.9% of its total value in 47 trading days. Now, we are looking at price action currently at the moment. We did see the markets move aggressively to the downside. I will consider looking at more shorting opportunities. If we do have a crossover prices testing on the 200 period moving average, I will consider looking at more shorting opportunities further to the downside, not only on AUD JPY. If you look at GBP JPY, also similar pattern did print out in the markets. If we can go look at the 1 hour time frame, whereby after Governor Ueda did release his speech, the markets aggressively moved to the downside. Now, we did close well below the opening price on Friday morning, and we did have a crossover yesterday, and we were looking at this particular piece of price action. If we do get signs of bearish candles around the 50 period moving average, considering the 200 is above the 50 and prices are well below, this could be a change of character, whereby prices was making high highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, but we are now breaking the most recent structure around this particular region, and we have broken support. Potentially the markets could come back, test this region as a resistance for a further continuation further to the downside. I will consider looking at this region around 209.578 as a region of interest in the near future. If at all we do get signs of sellers coming into the markets and the data does come out positive in terms of the Japanese yen. Now, looking at AUD JPY, we are anticipating data to come out tomorrow for the Australian region. If I can go back to my economic calendar. Beautiful. We do anticipate inflationary. Hello, Mr. Timothy. We are looking at inflationary numbers coming out for the Australian region tomorrow at exactly 3:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, we are looking at potential of inflation peaking to the upper side. The previous number on the year-on-year release was going to be 3.4%. We are looking at inflation ticking to the upper side at 3.6%. Now, when the data does come out positive, it means that, okay, Australians are usually purchasing. And this is good for currency because if they are consuming, it means more Australian dollars are in circulation. Hence, you would anticipate the Australian dollar to continue moving further to the upper side. Blessed Sun following from Nakuru. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I am looking at you also all the way from Nairobi. Now, looking at price action currently at the moment, if the data does come out positive tomorrow, I will consider looking at more buying opportunities on AUD JPY. But if the data does come out negative tomorrow, I will consider looking at selling opportunities on the Australian dollar against the JPY. If we do have a crossover, that's going to be really important for me as a trader to understand the trend of the markets. Currently, as we do speak, the RSI is at 53.28, signaling that yes, indeed, neither buyers or sellers are active in the markets. Looking at 10-year treasuries, nothing is happening on the 10-year treasuries. Ever since the year did begin, we have seen treasuries take a beating as a result of the dollar index moving lower, as a result of investors losing confidence in the United States economy, everything that has been happening. But the earnings that are supposed to come out in the near future could change the narrative. It could change what investors are looking at, and could we potentially see the US Treasury is moving further to the upper side. But if we do anticipate the Fed Reserve to cut interest rates on 17th of June, it does mean that we are looking at a potential weakness in the dollar. As a result, investors, institutions would want to offload their positions on dollar denominated assets, meaning that we might see 10-year treasuries continue moving further to the downside. Looking at UK oil and US oil are positively correlated. We are not seeing a lot of activities currently at the moment, but prices has been around the 64 pounds. This is $64 per barrel on UK oil currently at the moment as it does stand. Now, I would want to look at GBP USD. Now, British pound against the United States dollar has been really active of late. We have seen prices moving very aggressively to the upper side, especially looking at Friday. This was what we were analyzing on Friday's morning market call, whereby we did identify this region of consolidation. The markets did break out to the upper side, retested on that particular region, and Friday did close well above the opening price of Friday morning. Yesterday, we did see some bit of consolidation during Asian session, during London session, but towards New York session, we did get signs of buyers into GBP USD. Currently, at the moment, as it does stand, we are consolidating. And once again, looking at the title of this morning market call, it is the calm before the Fed. There's a high likelihood the markets are going to consolidate, accumulate positions, both buyers and sellers, before tomorrow we do receive new information. What we would want to look out for tomorrow is the new information from Jerome Powell. What is he going to say? Where does he feel the United States economy is headed to? What would happen if his contract does end towards the middle of the year? What could potentially happen as a result of the tariffs? This new information will be made available to us tomorrow at exactly 2100 hours. Once again, mark your calendars. The highlight of the week is going to be tomorrow at exactly 2200 hours to be exact. At 2200 hours, we do have the Fed interest rate decision, and then 30 minutes later, we are going to have the FOMC press conference, and this is what I would want to pay attention to. That being said, this is the perfect opportunity for me to talk about the score and draw opportunity. Africa, it is our time. We have an opportunity. 30 minutes later, beautiful, beautiful. We do have the score and draw challenge ongoing. I do have Puzzle, Frontier, locked in, Anthony from Nyeri, beautiful stuff. And then we have Vincent Miyawa from Vihiga, Embu Baba. Now, looking at score and draw challenge, you have an opportunity to drive home a brand new BMW 4 Series powered by your trades. Not only that, you're going to have a UK Premier League trip for two. All expenses paid for, flights, accommodations, match tickets. Not only that, we are going to have 4 winners being gifted a 55-inch 4K UHD TV. 20 winners are going to be gifted official EPL football jerseys of their own choice. Now, looking at this after what Arsenal did, beautiful stuff. Now, looking at funded accounts, 60 winners are going to be credited $200 each onto their accounts. That and many more. How do you join? You go over to the HF platform under the score and draw, click and join. You're going to trade and earn points, allocate them across different draws for exclusive prizes. That and many more under the bonuses and promotion segment on our HFM platform. That's going to be it for me. Stay safe, take care of yourselves. I shall see you when you do see me next. May the pips be with you.